Team LILGUN and IMPERIO Esports.
IMPERIO Esports now are up to the task. Will they be able to tie this down or like to take this game again and go with a full sweep 2-0 once again? They will top their group and they will be, I think if they want 2-0 this game, is it like for sure in the next stage? Like they will have 2-0, 2-0.
The next stage, I believe so.
Yeah, right?
It has to be, right? You win 2 games dominantly like that, maybe. We'll have to take a look later on at the schedule. But looking at the map right now, the clear difference is so apparent.
I don't think that he is committing to it. He is committing. He wants to take that retribution. Oh, it is a steal, and he is level 4, and the land is love already. Steve is trying to continue with Ethan, but Ethan can go back. There's some true damage happening. There's some damage being dealt by Aurora, but Aurora is now prevented from entering his own jungle. Oh, it is still here. It is still raging on. People are taking things personal. Yurk have to go back, and LILGUN have dominated, have invaded, have took everything in that jungle. I don't know when does it stop. I actually don't know when does it stop. Ethan committing to Aurora, and Aurora is so annoyed.
I mean, why does it have to stop? They can keep going like this. They have the Matilda, and in the mid lane, it's just a big struggle as
Look at that wheel spinning, and things are now spinning towards the favor of Team LILGUN.
Wow, just a clean first blood right there. IMPERIO Esports, after all that, think, oh, I can finally breathe in my lane a little bit. And then the second wave comes out of nowhere. Team LILGUN, this has been a character trait of them. Just extending these fights way longer than you would reasonably expect and catching people off guard.
You see that earlier, Marquinhos just started healing in front of Aizen like he's trying to send a message. Right now, though, unless IMPERIO can lock someone down, they can't really go for a pickoff.
Unless there is a miracle, they cannot survive. This team IMPERIO now behind in gold, behind in XP, and now behind in position. They cannot commit to that turtle, and it's a free turtle to Team LILGUN.
Very nice play. Zixora gonna secure that first neutral objective for his team, and they're gonna keep the pressure rolling, continuing to invade the enemy jungle.
Well, as Arashi said, why stop now? Why stop now? You are now, oh, Alpha is online. Alpha, Big Marks, Hero, Debate, and M-Series. Well, I don't know what is actually going on. Will they continue harassing that Alpha Big?
I mean, they would try to, but now with some more items, some ultimates to work with, this is where it kind of sort of equalizes, because before level 4, Matilda's Guiding Wind is just so many things built in together, and so is the box shell, right? With the reset on the spells, while you have the purple buff, it's almost like unlimited damage. So for now, I think IMPERIO Esports still have some space to stabilize, but they have to know which fight they can take and which fight they have to just give away to Team LILGUN.
I think that they are, like, so far, it's not about will you take the fight or not? It's will you force the fight or not? Team LILGUN are in there for blood.
Yeah, Team LILGUN is not giving their opponents any time to think, right? You would expect that, okay, we're gonna try and regroup, we're gonna think about which fights we can take, what power spikes we wanna go for. LILGUN's just saying, oh, we're just gonna play the game. Doesn't matter what's happening. It's already gonna be another 4-man gang up top.
Oh, it is a sandwich. He is now getting into the sandwich form. He's out. Edith is also out. Yuri is out. And no one is surviving from that clean engagement under the turret. The top lane is now in lava.
The Netherrealm dive potential, man. Team LILGUN using it to its full potential. But right now in the XP lane, it's just a back and forth duel here between Aizen and Marquinhos.
Oh my
fashion!
He uses his black shoes just to survive that certain death. Top lane is now a dangerous place to be.
This is where Team LILGUN is the scariest. When the team has a strong start, when they feel confident and comfortable enough to just take every part of the map and regard it as theirs, that is the most difficult situation for any opponent of theirs to be in. IMPERIO Esports has already shown us glimpses of brilliance in the past, but this is going to be their opponents at full power. Let's see how they're going to be able to deal with it, as now the turtle going to be contested.
Well, even though IMPERIO are now behind in terms of the gold and also the XP, they do want to take that turtle, and they do take that turtle down. Zixora is trying to escape, and now Fission tries to use his black shoes to survive. Even the
Aizen.
flicker helps them, but Aizen coming from the back line. Aizen is still committed to it. Right hook, right and left hook, and then there's a knockout. Forbid takes the 8 down. They are still committing that massacre at the top lane. Is a dangerous place to be. Team LILGUN dominates the early game.
It's almost like a miscommunication right there. Some members trying to escape, some trying to go back in. Imperio. What a crazy team fight right there. But with a gold deficit, they're able to bring the fight quite equally to Team LILGUN. They have to be careful, man. They cannot keep trading. Because in the same way that they lost in game number 1, game number 2, they have the Lilia, they have the Bruno, as well as the Edith technically. There's a lot of late game power spikes available for Imperio to try and mount a comeback from.
Yeah, I imagine Imperio are in a position where they understand all they really need to do is delay and hold the game. As long as they don't fall too behind, they can expect Team LILGUN to make similar sort of mistakes. And I'm hoping that LILGUN will be able to adapt to this, because right now what I'm seeing from this team is just 5 players that lack any sort of self-preservation mechanism. They just don't care, and they just dive in without regard for health.
Later on, though, I think Bebex is going to be able to have a lot of plays available, but Fashion here is taken quite low, and Imperio still are able to move backwards. They have to be careful of the Steffe re-engage potential here.
I think it's about time for that top lane to be down, right?
Maybe. Team LILGUN seem to be more focused on zoning. They're waiting for the minion wave to collide. Imperio looking for the counter.
I don't think that they will fully commit to it, because I think at some point Team LILGUN are playing mind games. They want to keep that turret up. They want to continue pressuring top lane.
I mean, it's a great move from Team LILGUN to just get behind the turrets and cut off Imperio. But they have so much faith here in the retribution right there, man. Like, Aurora is actually on the same level as Zixora, so they've been going so aggressively with the Boxja. They have not been farming, and it's a steal attempt. Not gonna work.
Oh, the Kali goes in with that flicker. Ultimate is now in the back line, and the Edith uses her ultimate to just steal a tremendous amount of damage, but the damage is not enough. The goal difference is now so high. It's in the favor of Team LILGUN. Once again, where are you going? Come back here. Knock, knock. It's Team LILGUN coming in the house once again, but Team Imperio is trying to escape. Aurora, there's no escape for you. If Team LILGUN finds you out, they will take you down, but instead, they will take that top lane down.
Oh my goodness.
Lilia is just giving that free gifted kill to Team LILGUN.
Oh my goodness. Team LILGUN is literally representing that one person who gets invited over to your house and then stays a little bit too long. I cannot believe how much they're willing to extend these fights and threaten Imperio Esports, just believing that eventually they're going to get an opportunity again. And micro mechanics on display once again. You saw the way that Bebex actually took the guiding winds into Imperio Esports to escape the raging sandstorm.
Ooh. I feel like right now the issue for Imperial Esports is that Aurora is one of the stronger members in their team, right? Especially in the early game. But he has not been in the fight in the early stages.
Oh, now it's so dangerous. It was so dangerous to be in the top lane, but it seems like LILGUN is trying to shift all that to the bot lane. Team LILGUN are back in control, but this time somewhere else.
Yeah, they're going to transition now to the bottom side. But that's where Imperial Esports can catch them off guard. Right now they can't really engage, but I mean, if Team LILGUN keeps crowding together like that, a big alpha ultimate into like all the combos, I think can really win Imperial Esports a fight still. So I think Team LILGUN needs to be still a bit careful, and Imperial has to make sure that if they want to fight, get everyone on the same page and get them in the fight together.
It's what we mentioned before, right? And what we've seen, just
Aurora.
one mistake could cost them. Ethan in a dangerous spot, able to flicker out, and the Lord is now within contention once again. Both these teams, 5 players all around the Lord pit. You would think that there'd be some kind of macro play happening across the map, but no, these players just want to brawl.
Well, in terms of macro play, Team LILGUN so far has proved that they are they are executing that perfect gameplay, and that's why they are collecting the results out of it, and they might want not just to dance with the Lord, maybe even have a little dance with Imperio Esports. So far, everything's so calm.
Well, hang on, they're forced to back away though. That's why the Lord damage right now is so dangerous, so devastating. Imperio have some control right here, but Team LILGUN, with the Netherrealm available, they can do a lot of damage. And Forbid is just chunking him down with the Ghostbusters. I think it's going to be Marquinhos that's going to be trying to make a play in the beginning. This might be too risky, man. I don't know if Imperio should take this.
Yeah, the waves are actually slowly starting to build up as well in favor of LILGUN, so they can just take their time here and wait for Imperio Esports to spread their numbers a bit thinner to try and make sure that their towers aren't threatened. Steffe though from the back line.
Ooh. I don't think, oh, they don't need Ethan to go in, and Ethan now is listening. Ethan is now in, but Marquinhos coming to that back line, and Steve is trying to do some wonders. Look at Ur, he's trying to deal any damage with that balls, but the balls on fire cannot do anything for Team Imperio. It is not just about time for Team Imperio to be in control of the game or even to come back. Team LILGUN with that free Lord.
It was the real reason for Imperio to start that fight. That's why Team LILGUN went for it. Look at the waves on the bottom side, man. They know that was coming. They want to make sure that they get the fight over with before that becomes a problem, before it becomes a time constraint. It's a back and forth play right there, and Marquinhos, he's playing more like an assassin right here, jumping onto Babex every time. But with the Netherrealm available, he needs a bit more backup in order to really secure that kill. And to make things worse, Forbid has now finished the Holy Crystal. So in short engagements, it's still going to be Team LILGUN coming out on top.
And not to mention the Wind of Nature completed by Babex as well, who right now is 5-0 on the Beatrix despite Marquinhos' best efforts. He's going again.
You called for it. You called for it, Sadafa. You wanted to see if Team LILGUN will have that like sweet, let's say, tie, and then we'll go to game 3. But so far, maybe you'll get what you want. But we will get that boss just to ensure that both teams have a really fair gameplay.
Yeah, this will give us a little bit of time to talk about the state of the game right now. Team LILGUN, 9.3k net worth lead against Imperio Esports. We talked about how in the late stages, Imperio again are able to scale up, but this is now a much bigger difference than we saw in game 1. Is the comeback potential still there?
I think it definitely still is. The Beatrix is a great source of damage, but it's only her alone. And we've seen that with the Netherrealm, it's possible to really get that late game power spike technically with 2 lives. But you also need to remember that, well, when you're in stasis, when you first lose the health from the Netherrealm, you're not doing damage, right? And you're locked in position, and there's a lot of burst damage available for the side of Imperio. And honestly, right, I think the big thing to talk about here is the gold difference. It's almost 10k, but look at the scorecards, man. There's only 1 kill available for Imperio. And all things considered, I feel like the gold difference should be even wider. The fact that Imperio are still somewhat on, in the game, 10k is bad. But if they're still somewhat in the game, shows that they've been farming quite efficiently right there. I think they just have to try and coordinate better. Because even in that last fight, you saw Aurora too far off to commit to any fights. And even when the fights does break out, he immediately decided in a few split seconds, like, you know what, not happening, and went for his orange buff instead.
Yeah, I think we've already seen, not just from these teams, but from a lot of matches here in the wild card, that even a deficit like this can actually be made up for. And we know that LILGUN has a tendency to go overly aggressive when that opportunity for victory is right in front of them. Right now, the game is going very much in their favor. But I think what needs to happen for Imperio Esports specifically is they do need to change the way they're approaching things. There's a sense of desperation here where they're really looking to catch someone in the backline. You see Steffe kind of overstepping. You see Marquinhos trying to get that set up. Maybe the play here would be to just wait for LILGUN to be the ones engaging again and then counter. Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, look, Matilda each time she uses her ultimate whenever she's using that circling eagle, and I don't think that I have ever seen Matilda pull back from the ultimate. I think that they always commit to it. So if they waited for Matilda to go in and they took advantage of it, especially because they have that really good crowd control, maybe, just maybe, they will, after like saying, I just heard Arashi say we had like 10k difference in gold, right?
Yeah.
So like it's a totally different game between, or like separate worlds between both the teams. But if LILGUN managed to pull this off until the end, maybe the reverse sweep or like maybe losing the first game is their lucky charm.
Lucky charm. Would you consider losing your first game as a lucky charm?
I don't know, man. Maybe, like, that's like the winning pattern, the winning formula. If
it works, right?
If that's how you need to win, why not?
Well, for now, though, I think for Imperio, there's still a great potential to defend. They have a Lilia. They can just stack up the Shadow Energies and clear waves a lot faster than I think LILGUN can be prepared for. For LILGUN, I think the wave management is something they have to try and get right again this time. But with 10k gold difference, that's usually the threshold where we say that the team can do pretty much whatever, and unless they really make the biggest of mistakes, the game is pretty much guaranteed. So we'll have to see, man. Can LILGUN stick to that as the Marshal here takes us back into the Line of Dawn?
Once again, thank you very much to our marshals up on stage for making sure that any technical difficulties are resolved as soon as possible as we jump right into a very defensive position by Imperio Esports. They're going to be forced to play in their base for now because there's no structures left for them outside of it. But this is the precise position that Team LILGUN fell into an ambush in Game 1. So all cards still on the table.
Well, I think that Team LILGUN at this point have drawn a line for Team Imperio to not cross that inhibitor turret. So it is still so early, but Team Imperio in a really bad position.
What you can see, LILGUN are getting a bit creative. They're splitting up, and they're potentially going for a 2v1 play on the top side. Will it work out?
Oh, will they go?
Him?
Oh! He's hiding.
Close.
He's hiding.
But no cigar. Nibiru's passion did not land on target. Let's take a look at the in-game equipment, man. I think Marquinhos can still definitely one-shot any squishy member, but he has to get through initially the Netherrealm and afterwards the Guiding Wind as well. On the flip side, Aurora now has the Bloodlust Axe, going again all in on damage, disregarding any defensive items right here. Their strategy is to later on delete the DPS tool, right, the Beatrix, and if the Beatrix isn't doing damage, then these sustainable damage heroes will eventually overpower these pure tank heroes coming in from Team LILGUN.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of this consistent late game damage for LILGUN does come from Bebex especially, so you can be sure that Imperio is going to be looking for him in every fight.
Well, my question here is, when is the power peak exactly for Alpha? Is it the mid to late game, right?
I think it's the early to mid game, in fact, in my opinion. In the late game, it kind of falls off a bit, but all things considered, how Imperio are playing, that's what they need, right? Good crowd control, good sustainability, and damage that is somewhat AoE in these fights.
The question is whether they can execute on that, because right now LILGUN are performing on a much higher tempo than Imperio are used to, even compared to game number 1. That's how much of a world's difference there is between LILGUN's performance when they have a lead and when they don't. So Imperio right now is gonna play quite respectful, it looks like, and not really contesting, especially since they have waves pushing up. But this is still an objective they cannot allow to go for free over to their opponents.
They're gonna contest right now the control, but Yuri is not in the fight, man. Ethan goes in.
Oh, Matilda is flying in, and also she has with her the monster kill. Bibex takes that Lilia down. Nothing can save that Lilia even after using that black shoes.
Some hesitation there, right, from Imperio. They were kind of half debating whether to go for it or not.
They're trying to scout for information, but LILGUN were just a bit too fast with it. Now at a 14k gold difference. This is an insane goal difference, man, but we've seen it happen before. Can Imperio just find a way to win against the Netherrealm, against the Guiding Wind? Let's see.
Let's see together whether Alpha is online or will be shot and got off by Marquinhos. Goes to that backline once again. It is where he belongs. He goes again and again to that backline. Steve is trying to survive, but Aizen is doing some recalls with the left hook, with the right punch. He goes in and maybe it is a knockout. Maybe it is a knockout. Aurora is trying to do his best to deal some of that true damage, and that true damage creates that true opportunity to make that defense pull off, but there's some minions coming, synchronized together. Everyone is there, everyone is there. Look at Team LILGUN as they are trying to go in, and they might just finish this, but they want to finish it cleanly. They want to finish that cleanly. They are aiming for the kills, they are aiming for the blood, they are not aiming for that base. They want that game to be clean for them, and that's what they got. And that's what they got. Marquinhos wants to make the defense, but it's so hard. It is so hard. Team LILGUN takes game 2.
Are we going to see history repeat itself? We're in a 1-1 situation once